This is the Run All Over preview show for Barnsley versus Cambridge United at the weekend as we are away. We're also going to speak about a chance of making the top two. We seem to make a nice little run, and the results did go in our way at the weekend as well. So we do sit fourth in the table at the minute, and there is a little bit of a chance that top two, even though there's a bit of a gap, especially on this form. And then we're also going to speak about the women who have turned it around their season a little bit with a 4-1 win at the weekend. So let's get stuck into it. So, Al, you are now in place of Tracy, because Tracy isn't here to speak about the women's game, but not been a great start to their season so far, but they did seem to turn around a little bit at the weekend with a big 4-1 win.
They did on Sunday. A much needed victory as well, as Jess said. They beat, who is it, the team now? Let's I think Norton and Stockton Ancients. That's a mouthful to say.
What a name.
Yes, they were at home. They won 4-1 with Lisa Woodhouse, Jodie Gregory, Louise Biggins, and Alanya Millard scoring. So if they'd, I think they'd lost that one, they'd have dropped into relegation zone. So yeah, hopefully that's a catalyst for him to move forward and to get some more wins.
Yeah, Andy, seems like he's been a little bit of a rough start to this season. Obviously, they've got promoted last season, so competition is going to be a
last
bit more
two
difficult.
seasons. Last two seasons. So it's been a bit of a change, hasn't it? This season, a number of new players have signed, and they're a decent side. I didn't go on Sunday, to be honest. I didn't realise they were playing at home.
Part-time.
I know. What can you say? I didn't know. I could have gone and all. But there's some good players there. I mean, my granddaughter Grace's favourite players, Alanya Millard. She's an outstanding player. She's not very tall, but she's, I'm going to swear then, really
fast,
tenacious and like lightning. Ooh. And her ball control, a second, she puts many footballers to shame, male and female. She can kill a ball dead. She's outstanding. She's been playing left back. But last year she was playing everywhere, including right wing. Just an outstanding player, really outstanding player. And Jodie Gregory, only a young woman, leading the line, and she's got all the attributes to go a long way in the women's game. She's very strong and powerful, and can half hit a ball. And she's very young. So she was 17 last year. So I'm assuming that she's 18 now. But what a player! Louise Biggins, Woodward, good. They can all play. They can play. So it's nice to see that they're getting some reward from it. And I've no doubt that Jess Ardsley was under a bit of pressure because we were down there and not winning much. So this will have helped no end. Confidence, because it's not. I've seen them draw a couple of games. They are not a poor side. They are a good side. But they've gone up a league against teams that are well established at that higher level. So it's going to be a consolidating season, I think, for us, especially with new players coming in. But they've got keeping this division, and then next season it's consolidated. I've said, but then next season see where we can go, if we can go further up the league and what have you. But they're a pleasure to watch because they play football.
This is, like you say, it's a big jump, obviously, back-to-back promotions of the last two seasons. Well, there is always a point where it sort of catches back up to you and you sort of find your level then at some point. So, yeah, good luck to the women in terms of consolidating that position in the league. And next time, Tracy, we'll definitely get an update as to see where they're sitting and what the future looks like for them. Right. So, moving on to the men's team, before we preview Cambridge, otherwise this will be the very quick show. Off the back of our sort of recent good form, Craig, I've seen a few people now say, we've got the momentum, it's with us. You look at some of the sides who are up there, and I see what some people are saying in terms of there are teams that you expect to probably drop off and fall away at some point. More teams that have just got off to a confident start and are still up there, such as Wickham. Birmingham, you expected to be up there anyway. Wrexham, to a degree, of sort of back-to-back promotions and then coming up again, sort of riding that crest of a wave and moving forward. And it feels like those sides that you'd expect at Ringing season to be there, such as Rotherham, Bolton, haven't set off well. Same with Peterborough, seems to be fairly inconsistent at the minute as well. it seems in terms of established League One sides and potential Championship status sides of us and Birmingham have got off to the better start of those sides that you'd expect to be up there already.
Yeah, it's quite a mixed bag up in top six currently because you've got teams that we knew were going to be up there just because of the amount of finances they have to pump into the league. The likes of Birmingham are doing fantastic, and Wrexham, I don't think they're quite as much of a mystery bundle. We know what to expect from them. We knew they were going to be in and around the playoffs just because they've had a meteoric rise and it don't look like it's ever going to stop. But the likes of Stockport, I think in top six, I wasn't expecting them to do as well as they are doing. Wickham have come out of nowhere. I don't think anybody expected them to be in top six at the start of the season. We know they're a difficult team to play against. We know that they've got some well-established players and are quite dogged in performance. But yeah, they're there because of merit, purely because they're just playing really well. And at the minute, we're fourth. I think as performances of late have warranted that. But it's just that consistency. We've got to keep it up now. There'll be some people who'll be riding this crest of a wave and thinking it's never going to end again. But I think we all know, and we've learned, especially from the last few seasons, that we can fall off the edge of the cliff at any moment. It's all about, like I say, consistency for us. If we can keep up good performances, and stop conceding late like we started doing last season, I think we've got every chance of being in the top six come the end of the season. But like I say, we've got January to come yet. Some teams are going to strengthen, especially I can see Rotherham throwing money at the situation because they're really down in 15th. They're not doing well at all. So, and you never know. You like Huddersfield as well. They'll throw money at it because, I mean, they're eighth. So, like I say, you never know. But keeping a good squad together and happy, like our lot seem to be at the minute, I'm seeing some great performances from players that beginning of the season looked a bit shaky. Let's say Ghent being one. I thought there were a lot of promise there when he made his first start, and then he didn't play for ages, and then he comes in and starts playing. But he's playing absolutely. I think he was our best player of the past month. By the way, I think he's played brilliant whenever he's played. Yeah, it's just consistency, mate. That's all we need.
Also, when you look at the table, as Craig's mentioned, there it is super tight of where we are. There's a 3 point gap between us and Wrexham to get into third, and a further 2 point gap from Wrexham to Birmingham. But Birmingham have a game in hand over everybody, barring Mansfield. Looking at it, we're also on 13. Oh, Exeter play 13. So, Mansfield have got a game in hand over us, so they could go above us. Again, another side you wouldn't really have expected at the start of the season when you sort of look at that top six, Stockport in there, Mansfield in seventh, Reading as well, who've had a very tough couple of seasons, sat in ninth as well, and only 2 points behind us. It's sort of one loss, sorry, could send us back down to sort of mid-table, and suddenly it doesn't look as rosy as what it does look. Al.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? I mean, I've seen what Chris Mann's put on our Red All Over group. If we'd have played up to 75 minutes, we'd be top of League One. And that's what we've said, the goals we've conceded. If games finished after 75 minutes, Chris has put up, Barnsley would have been on 30, Birmingham 29, Wrexham 28, Wickham 25, Huddersfield 24, and Reading 24. Ifs and buts, in it. I mean,
that was the problem, Al, though. We stopped playing after 75 minutes. That's why we.
No, we started defending after 75 minutes. That's been the issue. Stop playing forward. That's been the issue.
But it is, isn't it? Where we are at the moment, it's up to us in our hands. Not worry about anybody else. I mean, what are we now? Have we on? Is it 4 unbeaten on a run?
You had to mention it, Al, didn't you? You had to bring that up.
Oh, if you're going to do things, you've got to do it right. You've got to keep momentum going.
You have, Al.
And as I say, I know we're going on to Cambridge. We've won at Cambridge last twice when we played them in League One, 3-0 and 4-0. So could it be 5-0 this time? But yeah, he's a solid team, isn't he? And he's working, Darrell Clark, to get the side motivated. And he's got the shape right. He's got the players right. We've got a settled side, and you need that, don't you, to keep the momentum going. So January is going to be good. Where does he strengthen? What does he strengthen?
I think we do need some depth everywhere, to be, if I'm quite honest. I don't think our second string players are as good as us first. I think we're all right at right wing back. I think Cotter, O'Keefe interchangeable. I think they both got the positives and the negatives in games. Left wing back would be a key position. I think we need to strengthen, not strengthen, but get a good backup for Ghent if Ghent's going to be playing the remainder of the season out. Also, Pines unreliable at the minute. His injury record's a bit up and down, up and down. I don't know if we can really be relying on McCarthy as well. So, I mean, there's places where we can. Uran's not playing at all. It doesn't look like he's going to be playing at all. So, can we please get another midfielder in?
Do
Because
we need another midfielder?
somebody to play deeper.
Would
Yeah,
you?
I do.
Yeah, but Craig could do. Craig's gonna obviously coming for Luca at the weekend. You'd imagine, but we've had Adam Phillips out for a few weeks, and
Who
we
do you
didn't really
replace
miss him.
Russell and
Yeah, but you can't have 11 players. Do you know what I mean? You can't have 11 backup players in there. Like I think Craig's in there already, and then when we've not had that, we've sort of had a little bit of
Benson,
change
Yoga,
of system.
Nathan?
We've had a little bit of a rotation of the players who've come in there already. So I think there is decent depth at central midfield, I'd say.
Yeah, and up top, I think we're okay up top. I think Jello's decent coming off at bench. Marsh every now and again. Humphries, I think, has been blinding this season. Waters is a new man, and of course,
Cosy to come back.
and Cosy to come back. So yeah, the depth in the left wing back and maybe defence, I think, will be where we need to strengthen a little bit.
I'd agree with that. And Andy, I'm bringing you onto Al's favourite word there of unbeaten in four. So when you do look at the form, though, especially post international break, there's only Wickham, as I'm just quickly scanning it now, there's only Wickham who've won all four that have gone any better than us necessarily. I think we've got the second best form post international break. And I think maybe the next side might even be Cambridge. As sort of the most informed team. So it seems like whatever happened in that 2 week break, Daryl Clark has found something that works with this side. And as we sort of mentioned there, with what Craig mentioned, it's not like we've had everyone available. We've had Adam Phillips out up until sort of the last game. And you saw the influence that he has on a game when he's playing. And Waters only just come back as well. So it has sort of been not a piecemeal side, but Daryl Clark's not had the full arsenal to work with, and we've not really had easy games either as such, and we've managed to get decent results.
We started to get a settled, I was going to say squad, but a small squad. We'll give or take 2 or 3 players. We've not been tinkering anywhere near as much as we were, so we seem to be settled on a formation and a style that's pressing and is working for us. And there are some interchangeable, like you said. There's been no Adam Phillips for a few games, no Max Watters for a few games, and now no Cosgrove for a few games. So and we're not going to have Luke O'Connell this weekend. So there's some interchangeable things there, but we've not been changing it because we've not needed to change it, and that's a good thing. Change it if you need to change it, if things aren't working out. Whereas it felt before that we were changing it for almost change's sake to see what we got and how we could play, and it put to me, and it was tinkering, as Craig said before, tinkering much too much for my liking. And it's settled, and it's not just the settled side, if you like, give or take a couple of players. The formation and the style and the pressing's back. People are seeing us going forward and seeing what we can do. I only get worried because when we start winning matches, we all start getting giddy as a fan base, thinking, or some do, thinking that we're going up automatically, and then we start talking about automatic promotion, and it scares the hell out of me because you start talking about, oh, we did it last year, we're going up automatically. It's on, and then it weren't, not at all. So you've just, as a Barnsley fan, you've just got to keep your feet on the ground and not get too giddy. What'll be will be. Cambridge are no mugs. Forget last weekend's result. There'll be no mugs against us, I'll tell you that. But I hope Al's right. Well, I hope it is 5-0. A victory will do me. If we could just win it, that would do me. in January, I'm with Craig. We need a cover at left wing back or somebody that can play left wing back. And I don't know if there's, I don't know who there is out there. If I'm truthful, a left-sided player, whether it's somebody that can play left wing back, Broso play midfield as well. I don't know. Wherever there is, I'm not sure we need a centre half unless somebody gets. We don't know what's going to happen between now and then. If there's injuries, it could all change. Same with strikers. It'd be nice to have a striker, but it's always nice to have another striker. But as we are now, if there's no injuries and no long suspensions and what have you, as Craig says, I think we'd be okay. But you never know what's going to happen. We're only in November. I hope the situation sorts itself out about the goalkeeper, because we've got, some people are saying that we could do another goalkeeper, an experienced goalkeeper. I think Killip's done really, really well. But you never know. And we've got Jackson Smith and Kieran Flavel and all. I do think, and I don't mean to be awful to anybody, because, I want everybody to have a good football career. Slanina needs to go back to Chelsea for me. We don't, we actually don't need him. Whatever happens now, we don't need him. So whether we need another goalkeeper if he goes back, I'm not so sure. Maybe an experienced one, but if we didn't, I won't start crying buckets or all like that, because I think what we've got is okay. I think they're okay. Another striker.
I do think it's
30 goal a season striker. That's what we want.
Just in January, between now and then, gets 30 goals.
Aye.
This is always a weird one, I think, of loaning a goalkeeper.
We'll finish second then.
It is always a weird thing, I think, of loaning a goalkeeper, because you can only have, is it 4 or 5 in a match day squad of loanee players. So if you're going to use one for a keeper, to me, it's almost a waste, because they're not going to win you that many points, especially in the position of we are. When you're a side that's pushing to go to get promoted, you're not expecting your keeper to really make that many saves. As such, it's a lot different when you're in Championship and trying to stay in the league. You need a Luke Steele on loan to come and keep you up. But I think in that position, it's almost a bit of a waste of having that extra loan slot when you could have it somewhere that's going to affect top end at pitch or provide cover at left wing back or something like that.
I think a loan player should be a luxury player.
Yeah.
It should be somebody come in with a bit of flair and be able to change things. I think it's a free hit. It's like having a transfer without having a transfer, if you know what I mean. You can fetch in what you think you need, and Harvey Barnes when he come, that sort of player. Something that can change a game, just, McAtee from last season. Somebody that can come on and just offer you just that little bit of something different. I think that's what a long play should be. On the other hand as well, if you're looking at defenders for loan players, then you want some, because loan players, I think, should be younger players, young and hungry players that want to show what they're worth at another team. I don't see the point in loaning in an older player who thinks he's playing below his level, because he's not going to give you 100%. So that's my thought process anyway.
It's a conundrum at left wing back then, because you'd really want the cover to have a little bit of experience in him, rather than a Georgie Gent situation where it takes him 3 months to get bedded in. This is a tricky one, that. Al, do you reckon there's a chance of getting second place? Because there's still a 5-point gap.
You're not asking Al, it's going to be yes.
Oh, no, there's a 5-point gap. No. Birmingham got a game in hand over us anyway, so that gap could extend itself to 7 points, which it's quite a gap when you're looking at the sides that we have got to come to play in December as well. December's, it's almost one of them months of, if we get through that and we're still all right, we should be okay this season. But we could come out of that with next to no points, or it could come out of it flying. It's going to be, I think, a very, very pivotal month for us, is the Christmas period in particular.
It is. It's all dependent on what happens starting, is it 3rd of December at Wrexham? And then we've got Birmingham straight after on Saturday, haven't we? So if we can get those 2 games and get 6 points or 4 out of 6 on them, who knows? Everything's possible. But as I say, it's a big month, isn't it? A lot of big games in there. Exeter away, Boxing Day, Bolton Boxing Day. Will Everett be there on Boxing Day to wish him Merry Christmas?
They'll be getting sacked.
And then we've got on 29th Peterborough away. So yeah, it's in his own hands. We've got to go there and keep up this momentum, keep up the confidence, and play as we have been playing. and worry about ourselves and not worry about opposition. It's about us. And if we, I'm glad that Luke is out for this one and is going to be back for a big push up to Christmas.
I'll tell you what's interesting is his next 5 games is stepping up each time. So I've got Cambridge, who are 22nd. Then we've got Wigan, which is 19th. Then we've got Reading, which is 9th. Then we've got Wrexham, which is 3rd. And then we've got Birmingham, which is 2nd. So it's just getting harder and harder and harder all the way to December.
Well, that's the benchmark to see where we are and where we're sitting.
So we see who we draw against, who we lose against, and then we know we're in between them.
Don't forget everything in the meantime and all.
Yeah.
It does look like a horrible month. I mean, you've got Bolton fans calling for Ian Ebbett's head, and Bolton are what? How many points are behind us? Not many.
I think he'd probably take on out fans, to be fair.
To be fair, they're sat 10th. They're 2 points behind us. And we're on one end of the spectrum saying, yeah, Darryl Clark's fixed it. That's it. We've got a chance to top 2. And Bolton want their manager sacked. And
they're going to get
2 points behind us. It's crazy league, but I think it also just shows you how tight it is as well. Of them 2 points, one's 4th and one's 10th. Get down in the comments below where you think we will finish this season. I know it's very easy at the minute to get excited because 4 games ago we thought Darryl Clark might be getting sacked, and Gab Sutton were correct to his prediction of 17th. At one point it almost looked ambitious, whereas now top 2 could be on, top 6 certainty. And we're making our way to Wembley. So yeah,
before we go to Cambridge, Josh, can I fetch up what Sky's done? Have you seen what they've done?
But let me finish this first. So get your comments down below about where you think we'll finish this season and sort of your first part of the season assessment as well, because we are 14 games deep now. I know what you're going to say about Sky, so crack on.
Yeah, February. They've come out for what games are coming out. They've changed Burton at home on 1st of Feb to a 12:30 kickoff at home. Stockport away on 8th, which is your neck of woods, 12:30. And then they've changed Rotherham one on 22nd of Feb. That's another 12:30 kickoff. So, and then there's going to be later ones going for then March and April. They'll sort them out. So, 3 o'clock kickoffs for Barnsley. There's not many this season.
But do we not like money coming into the club? I mean, people are always saying bad stuff about Sky, but without Sky, football won't be as good as it is because it just wouldn't be. The amount of money they're pumping into Premier League and
fair point, but then what about people who's got the season tickets?
And they can't get
because of work commitments. So I've seen the kids play football on a Saturday morning, so they can't get. And the other thing about it, Sky changing all these and not knowing what's happening. A lot of fans, Craig, they look on the travel rail, and they get the tickets. They can't even get the tickets because they don't know what's happening.
It is it's a weird one. I think with that money thing in terms of Sky, the only people that benefit from that are people associated with it in terms of players, managers, coaches. The money more or less filters its way down to that because there's a cost of running a club, and the biggest expenditure to a club is players' wages week in, week out. They're the ones that benefit from it. If the Sky money didn't exist, there'd be less money for players, realistically, and there'd be less money to spend on transfer fees. But that will be across the board, so it'd be back aggregated. The only people that lose out in this for me are fans because they are messing about with times of moving Rotherham to Friday night at 7:15. 7:15 is really hard to get somewhere. If you finish work at 5, you have to get home, shower, get changed, and go back out. It's difficult for people to make, which I thought 7:15 were a really weird kickoff time, to be honest.
I'll tell you, I watched the video the other day, and it caught me an interesting stat. Since like the 1950s or something, the cost of players wages has risen 2,550,000%, something 2,500%. But the cost of money a club can get has only gone up by 1,500%. 1,500, yeah, percent.
Sounds about right. It sounds like a
so it's just players are getting greedy. They want
like
so much money.
Reflection of life at the minute. House prices have gone up X amount, but wage aren't.
I'm with Alan. I'm with Alan. There's too many games being changed from a normal traditional kickoff. And there's enough midweek games to stop young kids going because they have school the next day, or as Alan said, Saturday morning, kids play. You want kids to play football. You want them to play football. Half past 12 kickoff can often spoil it. A midweek match when there's a school the next day makes it impossible. So there's a limited number of games that young kids can go to. And to keep mucking about with the ones that they can go to, I'm with you. It would aggregate itself out. My personal belief.
And the young lads and girls who can't get, they're the future generation.
Absolutely.
So you've got to take into consideration.
They should.
Without fans is nothing.
Am I only one that's seeing this a different way?
I think you are, Craig, because simply for me, the FA. Hold on, let me finish because I didn't finish. For me, they spoiled it in '93 when the FA broke away from the EFL and all the money got pumped into that, and then they throw a few trinkets to the divisions below. They've spoiled football for fans, and it's a fan-based game, or should be. If they want to play in front of empty stadia, then they're going the right way about it because they're stopping people coming to watch football, and it's a disgrace what's happened over the last 20-odd years for me.
Correct, Andy. Yeah. And Craig's on about Sky. Look what happened to ITV Digital. It put us into administration.
It messed it up for us, yeah.
We didn't our football club because of TV.
Greed is good, Alan.
What I would say...
The FA broke away because they wanted the pennies. Then they all got giddy and they all wanted to go to a European league and got kicked for it. It's not good, Al. The amount of money that's awash higher up the division, it's coming down to the Championship as well. It's come down to the Championship and a bit to us. But in the Premier League, the amount of money that's being paid every week and every month to players is absolutely disgraceful aside of what's going in wages to League One and League Two players and below that. It's just wrong, Alan. Just wrong.
It's all out advertisements. I mean, they're ones that are pumping most money into clubs. So that's where it comes from. But what I would say is get rid of this blackout, 3 o'clock blackout. If they didn't have the 3 o'clock blackout, then they wouldn't have to change the fixtures. They wouldn't have to change the times. Because there'd be no blackout that could actually play the 3 o'clock match on telly.
Yeah, I reckon if you do that blackout, stadium attendances are going through floor.
But then it should be down to things to make it worthwhile for fans to come.
But there's also the other side of you cannot make a horrible sleet Tuesday night at Oakwell a nice experience. It's freezing, it's cold. If you want to go, you'll go. If you don't, you don't. But then
but they're not part of the 3 p.m. blackout.
No, right. And so if it happens on a Saturday then, and it's horrible weather, it's steaming, it's absolutely hammering it down, and you can watch the game from home. You're not going to Barnsley. You're going to sit at home and watch it. But if you're
which one are you going to pick then? Because you can't. I mean, you want
no, because if you remove the free, like you've just said, just get rid of free prem blackout, and then there's no repercussion. There's like no benefit to it. The only benefit to it is you get less people through turnstiles, which less people spending money within the club in terms of like drinks.
Yeah, but then if you don't have, if Sky don't have the game and move the time, then the club gets less money.
No, I thought the club just gets a blanket fee anyway at the start of the season. And it's like an extra £8 million. That's what Championship promotion's worth because you get more games on Sky. So it's just a blanket amount of money. You get it at the start of the season.
Yeah, that's if you've got a blanket amount of fixtures though. Everybody's got the same amount of fixtures on Sky.
Yeah, but like that then makes it a divisional disadvantage to any club that comes up. And so Crawley, for example, if they had 3 games on Sky and Birmingham have 15, then why is Birmingham getting extra money from Sky? But it's not
because they're having more televised games.
But it's not Crawley's fault. It's not their fault. They're not being.
It's not Birmingham's neither. It's
exactly. So
football.
It's not fair to pay one more because they're on the telly more than pay one less because they're not. So it's like I'm sure.
It's like if we went up to Championship, I wouldn't be expected as much as the team that had just come down from Premier League.
Yeah, but then so you've got a team that's coming down with £120 million worth of parachute payments, and then they're getting more money from Sky. How are you meant to compete with that?
Where's the left play field? There ain't one.
It makes
they've got to find one because the current system's not working.
I think the free prem blackout isn't because it's just another blanket amount of money that they'll just because every game's on telly. You're not going to pay more or less for any. They're all going to kick off at the same time. You're gonna all getting rid of free play and blackouts going to do is stop people going to games because you don't
I,
have to anymore.
I thought that if your
You don't
game
have
was
to anyway, really.
televised, I thought if
You
your
do
game was
because if you want to
televised,
watch
you
a
got
game on
extra money.
Saturday, if you want to watch a game on a Saturday, you have to go there and watch
There's
it.
ways and means.
No, there is, but that's also another cost, an additional cost. Whereas if you've already got Sky and you can watch that game, you're going to watch that game on there. If there's another thing that is, I know what you're saying, but there's a deterrent to it of there is a potential outcome that is not great for you watching it via that means, then some people might not do it and just want to go and watch the game anyway. So attendances will just go down. Like less and less people will watch, especially during the horrible months, which attendances already go down anyway when it's horrible December sleet, rank weather. No one wants to go and watch it, especially when you're not very good. So
I think it's going to be interesting next season ticket sales. I'd like to know the percentage of the sales from this season to next season, if there's a difference, and what percentage difference it will be. And I can see it happening.
I think you're
I
right. I
can
think
now.
it would go down. It would go down because I don't know how much sway the club has in terms of games being moved to certain times and things like that. Or if it's just all Sky go, here you
I
go.
don't like the fact that they
You've got
can
that
do
one.
what they want. For me, they've ruined the Premier League, and now, although the money's nice to a lot of clubs, it's still, in my personal view, as a spectator sport, ruining the EFL as well. I think it's a crap deal for football or for football fans. Let's put it that way. Nice to have a few quid, but it's
There'd be loads of
not a
games
great
adding
deal
this.
because they can do what they want. They can move things to what they want. They're the paymasters, so they decide, and that's awful.
I'm just trying to think it last time. Like we've not done an instant reaction outside ground for weeks because we hadn't had
We went to the Saturday afternoon get home game.
Yeah, and we hadn't had Tom recently, but even then we've not had a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday at home.
No.
Like it's been quite a while that we've had one. Which
And last season we hardly had any games on Sky, did we? Us? We had playoffs, but we weren't on Sky much last season. Since
no
they've changed it now to this Sky, what is it?
Sky Sports Plus,
Plus.
and just get more games on. I just think it's just the modern way it's going to go. I mean, it's only going to get worse. But I don't.
I mean,
like
how
to
much
look at all the finances more.
when we can see us?
If anyone in the comments knows how the Sky deal works as well,
I thought if you played a game, you got some money. I thought the home team got a certain amount and the away team got not just a blanket thing at the start of the season.
I thought there was because I thought that was the 8 million that when you went up, that's what you got from it. As though it was sort of like part of the
It might
Sky
have changed
thing,
then, but I know it
games.
used to be that the home side got a certain amount and the away side got a certain amount for to compensate for fans watching it on the television as opposed to going to the ground. I don't know. That's what I thought.
I wonder how they worked that out. I'm just trying to think now, if that is how it works, I wonder how they worked that out then in terms of do they just take like an average gate receipt and then just throw you that amount of money?
It was something. It was something like
to what it'd be like.
I don't know what it is now, but a few years ago it was something like 40 grand for the home side and 20 grand for the away side. That was my understanding of it.
It's not really much though. I thought it'd be a little bit more than that.
Oh well.
If anyone does know how
it,
if anyone does know how that works, please get in the comments below. Because I've made a lot of assumptions there of how it works. But I'm sure it's from maybe we need to get Tom's friend on again. The football finance man. Yes. Kieran Maguire. We need to get Kieran Maguire on again to explain that in more detail.
Let's see what everybody thinks in comments about this one.
Certainly. It's been a very comment heavy show. He loves to see it. Really driving that engagement. Right, moving on then to the most important part, the real football and none of this Sky ruining it, etc. So looking at the stats pack, Cambridge United this weekend, so manager Gary Monk, top scorer Shane Lavery on 2 so far this season, only played in 5 games as well, so he seems like he's hit the ground running since signing. Sat 22nd in the league, form 2 losses, 3 wins in the last 5. Key player Danny Andrew on the left-hand side, and formation, it's a little bit of a variation of a 3-5-2. I think it's a 3-4-1-2 from top of my head. And then key stats is Cambridge have lost the second most amount of games this season with 9, which does make it interesting given that their previous form actually does look quite good. So from the way in which they started the season, they lost all the way up until the 5th of October with 1 draw against Blackpool, which was 4 apiece. had a postponed game against Birmingham, and then that was really the start of their season, winning 2, 4, 5 games in a row, including one in the FA Cup and one in the Bristol Street Motors before getting whacked 6-1 at the weekend. So, having gone through all that, Andy, how do you think about this weekend? Because if we'd have played Cambridge this time last month, we'd have been expecting to win and win comfortably.
It just shows you that football's a funny old game. If you looked at it over this last few days, you'd think the 22nd in the table, so they're in the relegation place, they've just been absolutely whacked 6-1 by Peterborough, and they scored a late goal to make it 1. But in the 4 previous games, including a cup game against Woking and the 3 league games, they won 4 of them and not conceded a goal. And then they go into somewhat daft like concede 6. So it's a very, very strange game. They are. I know what I was going to say about when we played there before. They are. I don't think the mugs at all. Not at all. They've got some half decent players there. I don't know if he'll be playing against us, but they've got Paul Digby, who were one of our young starlets till his career with us got stymied by injury, and then he went, and Corey Smith, who hadn't played for, were on loan for us from I think from Norwich. It's that long ago. Not played for us for many, many years, but he's been a tidy, experienced midfield player that's been playing for him, and I know others are going to mention other players. So there's if we go down there and thinking 6-1, next 2 off at bottom, it's easy. Then they'll sort us out. If we go as I expect us to go, to be honest, and think we're on the crest of a wave, they've had a blip, but it's going to be a right old ding-dong game, play our game, then it could be a good result for us. But it's by no means a certainty. Don't whatever you do, don't think it's going to be a certainty after last weekend.
You're giving people too many tips for the predictions here, Andy. I'm wanting people to come in here with 8-1, 9-1, and then when I go 1-0
conceded. We all can have a blip. I mean, we sometimes have a blip, Man United away. It's a bit of a blip. Teams can have a blip, and they certainly did against Peterborough. I saw a bit of it, and what I saw, I thought, I don't understand, because they weren't playing that bad. They were attacking well, and I don't think Peterborough took the foot off the gas or whatever. But every time Peterborough attacked, they scored, or it felt like it. So, hopefully their defence will be just as leaky.
Last season.
Yeah, hopefully their defence will be just as leaky. Michael Morrison at the back is knocking on a bit, so hopefully might get a bit of speed. But his experience, he's a tall lad, so we don't be playing eyeballs in there. The tall lad, an experienced defender. But let's just hope that we do what we do and get some balls whipped in, get it played behind him. If presuming Max is playing, so that Max can run onto it. All that sort of thing. We play our game and don't get dragged into others. And we are starting to play our game and not be looking at what other people are doing and adjusting our game to suit their strategies. So that's a good thing. So hopefully it's going to be the start of a good run of games for us.
Yeah, you'd like to think so. Obviously it is, as Andy said there, you sort of look at the recent form, and Gary Monk seems to have turned it around, sort of using that postponement of the Birmingham game, and kind of like we have of the international break, we use that to our advantage, and we've sort of hit the ground running as well post that time. But sort of when you can't really discount last weekend's game as such, of losing 6-1, which Peterborough can do that to teams, because you look at what they've got in attack in this league. I think Poku's now joint top goal scorer with Louis Barry on 10. So it's always going to be a difficult game, but 6 is one of those margins that's almost takes you back a bit and thinks, ooh, they could still be reeling from that this weekend as well.
It is. They're not going to want to ship in goals again this weekend against us, others, so they'll be working to try and stop that. And I think it's set up at Peterborough 3-4-3, so he's a tweaker. Monk's a tweaker. We had him at Barnsley as a player, and he was at Hillsborough as a gaffer and all, wasn't he? So before he ended up getting a job with Hughes at Cambridge. So it's going to be a good game, I think. we ain't got Captain Connell, so Robbo will be captain Saturday, I'm assuming. And who comes in? As I said, Matty Craig. Does Matty come in? I've thrown in, does Josh Benson come in? Who knows? It'd be interesting. But we've been there. I think last 4 times we've been down there, we've come away victorious. So there's nothing to say we can't do it again and push on. I think is it 6 we've won away, or it could be 6. So our away form is far superior to any other side, I think, in League One. So push on. Let's get there and do it. The only thing I will say about it, I've got ticket for sitting down. We've always been behind goal when we've been there. They've changed it. We must be outside. They've only given us 120 seated, and I think just over 900 standing. So they've cut down, I think, number of away fans who's going to their ground.
Interesting. If they've done so. Craig, as Al mentioned there, no Luca this weekend for us, which obviously is going to be sort of one of those big shuffles of the cards of who comes in terms of Craig, or does Benson come in, or again, Daryl Clark doesn't have the option of potentially changing it and just sitting with either Russell and Phillips and then changing the shape entirely up top of going 2 strikers and DKD behind potentially. There's a few variables at play there of how he can tweak it. How would you like to see him sort of adjust from Luca missing?
I would like. I don't want to change too much. I can see the positives of maybe changing the formation a little bit, but I don't think I want him to stop tinkering because I don't think it helped us in past, so I don't think he should pick it up now. I think we've got enough quality to come on and be able to put in a decent fist of it instead of Luca. I think Benson deserves a chance, but will he be able to sit deep? I mean, he very much loves to roam up the pitch, so or Woodward personally could just have Craig there. I think he's experienced at this level, and like I say, he might not have the silky skills as Luca, but he's got the ball winning ability, and he can do the defensive work very well. So I think that's all we'll need him for. Really, I think we've got enough in the attack with the likes of Phillips, Russell, and then the 2 strikers and the wing backs to be able to cause enough problems without essentially missing Luca that much. But yeah, it's quite weird really seeing Cambridge where they are, because I expected them to be mid-table at least, because I mean you look through their dog barking. You look through their roster and the players they've got. The likes of Elias Kachunga is in there, absolutely experienced. I mean, it wasn't too long ago we were playing at Premier League, I think, with Huddersfield, and Cousins as well in Championship at Stoke City. We were playing there. Morrison, brilliant centre back. So to see them where they are, it's quite confusing. But they have won 3 of the last 5 games. I think they're starting to turn it around. So this is probably the most dangerous time to be playing them when they've just got a heavy defeat. But this is where them experienced heads in the locker room that they've got plenty of all turn around and go, right, brush it off. Next game, let's make sure we put the record straight, essentially. So you can look at that score and think, oh, well, we can do the same. I would be more of the mind of going a bit wary because they're going to come out firing. They're going to want to change that result, and they've got to prove it to the fans that they want to play for the badge, and they're at home as well. So it's it's going to be an hard one to call, certainly, but I don't think missing Luca is going to be that big of an issue for us. I think Craig's more than good enough to fill that void.
It's almost like a wounded animal kind of thing. It sort of goes one or two ways.
Do you want to go up and kick it, or will it bite me?
Yeah. Always feels like we always come against these teams as well. And you've got Al saying we've never lost there, or we're unbeaten in 5. So
we lost last game, didn't we? 2-0.
What,
Oh, it were our ground. Yeah, that's fine.
so was you a loss against them? Away from home, which is always nice to see. Andy, don't happen to do an out with any Cambridge fans, do you?
Not,
In the upcoming days?
not yet. I mean, we're recording this Tuesday night, aren't we? Tomorrow night, Wednesday. I'm going on their podcast under the Abbey stand for about 10 minutes. Well, I think they said 10 minutes, but I still just wax lyrical, so
Just
there'll be a bit
So
longer.
keeping you to 10 minutes, they'll have
I
a
know.
job on.
just
I know,
asking you one question then, Heather.
It's strange. It's strange. I'll frighten them. I'll frighten them with how good our players are and what have you. And then straight after doing that, Jack from the under the Abbey stand is going to come on an away end, so I'll get a lot more, hopefully a lot more information about what's going on. You know, how they started, because they started poorly. Then have done well, like we said, four games without until the weekend, 4 games without conceding a goal, and you think, well, that's pretty good. They've not, obviously including a cup game. The 3 games they've won in the league, they've won recently. So, you know, it seemed to be turning around until last weekend. So I'd want to know really if they can, if they know, how come it's gone from bad to pretty good, and then whether it's a blip or just gone bad again, who knows? I'm hoping that they're going to be able to tell me when we record the show tomorrow night. So that's something to look forward to. So maybe I'll have a bit more information then. But I ain't going to admit it, so I've not talked to them.
It's a shame that, because, well, saying that, I'm saying it as though you normally come and tell us absolutely anything. You just spend, whenever you've done an away and before the show, you spend half hour telling us to go and watch it instead of giving us any
Well,
details
obviously, it's going to be worth watching. It's going to be. It's
We'll
going to
see.
be. It's going to be the football gold or comedy gold or just rubbish. You know.
Fitting with wrestling then.
Yeah.
As well see. Right, predictions. Al, what do you reckon to Saturday?
9-3 behind me. No, sorry, no, that's false. I'm going same as last season. I'm going for a 4-0.
Oh, that was 4-0 inside half hour as well, wasn't it? Or at least in first half. Ooh, Craig.
Last 4 games has always ended up with one team having 0 goals. So I'm going to go 2-0 Reds.
Nice. Andy?
I'm going to go 2-0 to Barnsley.
Hey?
No,
They're not going to score.
please.
They're not going to score. Actually, I'm lying. They will score. It'll be 2-1 to us.
I'm going to say Cambridge, you've scored in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the last 6.
Yeah, but look out. Right, in 13 games, league games, they've scored 12 goals. They're not. That's nearly one a game.
Matters.
Nearly one a game. It's not. It's not good. So maybe we'll stick to that. You know, maybe they'll just keep that up 1 a game. If they only score 1, we'll beat them.
I'm going to go 3-1. I think they'll score, but I think we'll score more than them. Hopefully, Chris Mann.
If
draw
Chris Mann goes 3-1, if Chris Mann goes 3-1, the next time we predict, don't predict, Josh. Just say I'll put it in the comments. And
no, because I'll forget.
The last minute.
I'll forget and still do it wrong.
It's copying you.
Clean sheet. You heard it here first.
Yeah, I've started picking up recently as well. I've got Super Bennett nets. Right, get your predictions down in the comments below, except you, Chris Mann. You can give it a miss this week. We'll see if I can pick any points up on you. Get your comments down get your predictions down in the comments below, as well with everything else we've mentioned tonight. We love to have a debate about certain things and also educate us. If someone knows how that Sky deal works at the minute, let us know because we're not entirely
any ideas how to sort it out?
Yeah. What would you do? Would you get rid of the 3 p.m. blackout? Would you keep it? I don't know. But yeah, get your
Sky, bin them.
Get your suggestions down below. I'll be back at the weekend.
3:15 p.m. kickoff, Sandy.
3:15, Al.
Bring them back.
3:15. That's what we want to see, Al.
3:15 kickoffs. We kicked off after everybody else.
We did, Al.
Yeah, and football also been out pigskin back then too, wasn't it?
No need, Craig. No need. leave us with his memories, Craig. Don't spoil his memories and his dreams. I'll tell you what, there were nothing worse, Craig, than listening to the scores and then putting scores on television, and it were, so and so 3-1, so and so 2-1, Barnsley, late kickoff. You think, oh God. And sometimes they forgot because the program run out before our game ended. So
Right, we'll be back on Sunday morning with our reaction to this weekend's game, and we'll see you there, you Reds.